Rudeus, now 12 years old, reflects on his growth as an adventurer. Journeying primarily between the Demon Continent and Milis Continent, he marvels at the passage of time. Recently, the group has been in the Kingdom of Azura for 6 months, amassing the money and supplies necessary for swift travel. With the weight of his forgotten family members on his mind, Zenith, Lilia, Aisha, and Sylphie, Rudeus hasn't lost hope, even amidst Paul's struggles. As they strategize at an inn, Rudeus discusses the potential travel routes with Eris and Rudeus. The 3 main paths to the Azura Kingdom each have drawbacks. The central trade route is deemed simplest, but perhaps unreliable. The western mountain path is dangerous due to harsh terrain, and the eastern sea route, which involves traversing the Bagarit continent, is rife with strong beasts and uncertainty. Rudeus, with his steady assurance, insists they take the eastern route despite the risk. In a surreal detour, Rudeus communicates with the enigmatic man god, who mocks him for his indecisiveness and avoidance of real problems. The man god challenges Rudeus to find his family, mentioning Aisha Greyrat specifically. Though the vision is unsettling, Rudeus wakes determined to trust Rudeus' instincts, even if it means stepping into dangerous territories. With the morning, as preparations begin, Rudeus cheerfully announces a detour through the Shironi Kingdom to meet his former mentor, Roxy Magurdia. Rudeus and Eris, albeit puzzled, agree. The visit is sparked not only by gratitude but also by hopes of gaining further insights into their quest. But Rudeus also harbors a yearning for something simpler, rice. His nostalgia for the taste leads to an experiment. With little success, Rudeus seeks comfort in familiar flavors, yet true satisfaction eludes him outside Japan's exquisite varieties. As they traverse north through the kingdom of Sarnakia, familiar rice fields evoke memories of home. Other reminders, like the sensation of eating fried chicken, only underscore the disconnect between his Japanese past and present reality. Despite this longing, their meals symbolize shared camaraderie. Rudeus treasures these moments even if their journey is peppered with offense from local adventurers. Reaching Shironi Kingdom, Rudeus anxiously anticipates meeting Roxy again. The capital, Latakia, boasts bustling streets and intricate designs on the labyrinthine buildings, showcasing rich cultural exchange. For Rudeus, this is not just a vibrant country, it's a stepping stone towards reunifying with those he loves and remembers. As the journey in the Shironi Kingdom unfolds, Rudeus ponders the weight of staying in their current accommodations. Despite their upgrade from the Demon Continent, the team longed for something better but made do due to financial constraints. Rudeus reflects on his penny-pinching ways, pondering their situation against the vastness of their ongoing mission. Rudeus, Eris, and Rudeus find themselves strategizing their approach. They discuss going to the royal palace to ask for help from Roxy, who is now a court magician. Rudeus acknowledges the risk but decides to attempt this approach regardless, trusting her aid could turn the tide. His recount of writing a desperate letter reveals his vulnerability and determination. In a candid discussion with Eris and Rudeus, Rudeus proposes that they conceal their names while in the kingdom. This decision stems partly from the man god's manipulations. To cover their identities, they concoct elaborate aliases, stirring a humorous yet tense moment. Rudeus takes a creative plunge, crafting names like the Knight of the Shadow Moon, drawing inspiration from his past as both a scholar and someone intrigued by fantasy epics. The next day, Rudeus diligently writes a letter to Roxy. He pens it with utmost candidness, explaining their plight and seeking her intervention. His heart poured onto the paper reflects his deep respect and trust in Roxy. While drafting, Eris expresses a desire to explore, while Rudeus suggests their primary goal should remain focused on gathering information. Venturing into the bustling streets, Rudeus becomes aware of being tailed. The eerie sensation of déjà vu strikes him, reminiscent of past encounters. Turning into a narrow alley, he evades his would-be pursuers, only to be confronted by a peculiar scene with castle soldiers. Amidst the confusion, a young girl's cries draw his attention. Upon closer inspection, she resembles Lilia with strikingly similar features. Her desperate sobs reveal her identity as Aisha, Rudeus' younger sister. The soldiers, unyielding in their duty, display reluctance rather than animosity. Despite their orders, they hesitate, sparking a tense standoff. Rudeus, fueled by urgency, uses his magic to create a diversion, allowing Aisha's escape. Without missing a beat, he catapults them to safety, Aisha clinging tightly as they soar through the air. Once secure, Aisha weeps with relief. Her cries pierce the calm aftermath of their flight. Amid the emotional upheaval, a comedic interlude surfaces when Rudeus finds himself in the awkward position of aiding Aisha with basic necessities, revealing a blend of tension and familial warmth. Aisha, dressed in her maid attire, soon finds her composure. Her presence evokes a blend of nostalgia and responsibility in Rudeus. Their conversation, laden with inquiries about the past 2 years, unveils layers of untold stories and the ever-present threat they face. Aisha outlines her attempts to reach out to Paul and her inability to send any letters, a convolution of schemes and royal intrigue becoming apparent. Eris and Rudeus later return, having engaged in their own inquiries amidst the city's chaotic underbelly. They express understanding and are supportive of the newfound sibling reunion. The group considers the complexities of castle dynamics and schemes, pondering over their next move and expressing eagerness to reunite with Roxy. Rudeus soon encounters an envoy from the palace, a woman named Ginger York, tasked with escorting him for a meeting with Roxy. The scene serves as a herald of change, implying potential shifts in their dealings within the kingdom. Rudeus, grappling with leaving Aisha behind, sets the tone for the unfolding events, determined to resolve their disputes and secure aid from Roxy. As Rudeus prepares to set forth with Ginger, he acknowledges the depth of the city's mysterious layers, drawing parallels between his familial duties and the kingdom's political web. His resolve to navigate these challenging waters underscores a newfound maturity and determination. The urban landscape reveals an undercurrent of slave trading, a stark, unsettling reality that Rudeus observes. Ginger's response paints a picture of acceptance yet complicity, offering a telling insight into the kingdom's culture. This unsettling revelation marks a poignant moment in Rudeus' understanding of the kingdom's dynamics, foreshadowing potential challenges in his mission. Navigating the city's clandestine layers, Rudeus realizes that the journey is fraught with complexities none of them anticipated, as unseen strings pull him further into the heart of Shironi Kingdom's enigmatic allure. Rudeus, after a harrowing escape, reflects on Roxy's message, compelling him to take action. He remembers her mentioning a young mage admired by her teacher and hopes this helps him earn the soldier's trust. However, his request is met with hesitance, and Ginger, the soldier escorting him, suggests he could enter as a visitor by knowing another noble. As they approach the imposing palace door, Rudeus notices the air of authority around Ginger. She introduces herself casually, implying some status. He is led to a room where a surprising sight awaits him. Lilia is tied up and gagged, bringing a rush of emotions and a sense of urgency to the forefront. Before Rudeus can process the situation, he is trapped by a powerful barrier set by Prince Pax Shironi. The arrogant prince relishes in Rudeus's predicament, revealing his plan to use Rudeus as bait for Roxy. Pax expresses a distorted admiration for Roxy, claiming he'll lure her with Rudeus and then torment her. Rudeus tries to reason with Pax, reflecting on his captivity. Pax dismisses his arguments with a smirk, proud of his clever trap. Rudeus's frustration mounts as he recalls his teachings and strategizes an escape. Pax casually drops the information that they've claimed Aisha as well, using her as a further pawn. Amid the tense exchange, Rudeus tries to appeal to any sense of decency Pax might have, but it becomes clear that Pax is unmovable. His cruelty is unmasked when he outlines vile intentions toward Roxy upon her arrival. Rudeus is left grappling with the gravity of the situation, cursing his helplessness and reflecting on the errors that led here. Rudeus's moment of despair is interrupted by the entrance of Zenoba Shironi, the third prince. Zenoba exudes an aura of eccentricity, eyes gleaming with interest in Rudeus's past adventures. Zenoba displays a peculiar focus on a demon figurine resembling Roxy, sparking Rudeus's curiosity. As Zenoba and Rudeus engage in conversation, a sense of camaraderie emerges. Zenoba's odd obsession with collecting figurines becomes apparent as he proudly reveals his collection. The conversation drifts to Lilia's predicament and Zenoba's potential to aid Rudeus due to his unique interests. Discovering Zenoba's affinity for the figurine arts, Rudeus finds a glimmer of hope. Intrigued, he examines the figurine closely, leading him to a startling realization about the artist's insight into Rox's persona. His understanding of craftsmanship and the magical detail infused in the figurine ignites a shared excitement in Zenoba. Rudeus's admiration grows for Zenoba's discerning eye and passion, feeling a connection through their mutually appreciated craft. Sensing an opportunity, Rudeus requests Zenoba's help in dismantling the magical barrier trapping him. Zenoba is thrilled, accepting the challenge eagerly. Their newfound alliance breathes a touch of relief into Rudeus's dire situation. As Zenoba embarks on the task of decoding the barrier, hope swells within Rudeus, seeing a way to rescue Lilia and strategize against Pax's malicious orchestration. In the midst of tension and desperation, Rudeus finds solace in the unexpected bond formed with Zenoba. This alliance offers a glimmer of redemption, setting the stage for a pivotal confrontation and the hope of turning the tide against the oppressive shadows of the Shironi Palace. Zenoba Shiroin, filled with realization and urgency, rushes upstairs. His demeanor is calm yet determined as he acknowledges the critical importance of Pax's hostage, Ginger. He declares that protecting her falls upon his shoulders. He communicates this to Rudeus, implying that he should expect him to handle the situation efficiently. With a determined gleam in his eyes, Zenoba ascends the staircase, already plotting a way to ensure her safety. As the story unfolds, it delves into the past of the Shironi kingdom, providing a glimpse into the political intricacies and royal dynamics. A significant revelation comes to light as a child born to the royal family exhibits an abnormality, an unusual power that alters expectations. This child, Zenoba, possesses the ability to destroy anything with a touch. While such power might typically be deemed undesirable, the political atmosphere in the kingdom shifts to accommodate this anomaly. Under the kingdom's hierarchical system, the prince with the most guards wielded the highest power. This explains Pax's earlier confidence, being the seventh prince with significant guards under his command. However, Zenoba's power made him invaluable, altering the typical standing. With Zenoba's birth, the kingdom's guard dynamic changed, his touch quickly resolved disputes and established his value. This revelation becomes apparent during a gathering where Zenoba, still a child, casually beheads his sibling with a doll-like demeanor, a clear demonstration of his power. Alarmed by his sheer abilities, the royal family treats Zenoba with caution, fearing the simple yet profound power he holds within his hands. The balance of power suddenly shifts, and Zenoba finds himself at the center of political intrigue. Back in the present, Zenoba confidently confronts his brother, Pax, holding him responsible for his actions and trying to appeal to Rudeus's abilities. Meanwhile, a group of noble individuals arrives, clearly intent on confronting Pax. It becomes clear that the political power play within Shironi is fraught with tension, and Pax is cornered. He is accused of attempting to assassinate his way to the throne, and Rudeus remains a figure of power, albeit an outsider in the royal family dynamic. Zenoba, ever the tactful manipulator, uses this opportunity to assert his own influence and demand changes. In the ensuing chaos, Lilia and Aisha make their escape with Pax's own soldiers unwittingly aiding their reclamation. With Rudeus, they escape the confines of the castle, freeing themselves from the political intricacies that have ensnared their family. Ginger's loyalty still remains with Zenoba, fueled by the promise of creating a figurine, although her motivations are still enigmatic. This strange allegiance showcases the pull that Zenoba holds beyond his mere ability. There's an unspoken bond tying her future to his. Rudeus assists in securing Lilia and Aisha, but his mind races with decisions and consequences. Their eventual escape into the night leaves many behind, but it emphasizes a chapter of renewed freedom for those who join his journey. Several days pass, and Rudeus finds himself pondering about the complex political maneuvering within Shironi. Zenoba shows gratitude and a willingness to learn from Rudeus, displaying an eagerness that aligns with his fascination for figurines. Rudeus promises to tutor him in the art, marking the beginning of a unique apprenticeship. The next chapter begins with Rudeus traveling alongside Lilia and Aisha on their journey out of the Shironi kingdom. He makes plans to part with them, heading out of the kingdom to meet up with Eris and Rudeus, while the sisters continue towards the Azura kingdom. Lilia's gratitude towards Rudeus is palpable as she reflects on the events, expressing amazement at how everything came together. she's aware of how differently her situation might have played out without his intervention. During this heartfelt exchange, the conversation shifts, and they touch upon Aisha's development. Lilia expresses a sort of motherly concern for Aisha's upbringing, subtly probing Rudeus on his plans for her. This leads to a discussion more personal in nature, revealing Lilia's own struggles, and showcasing the strength of familial bonds amidst the turmoil. As the group approaches the Azura Kingdom, an incomprehensible mixture of uncertainty and enthusiasm fills the air. They bid farewell, solidifying their resolve towards new beginnings. Rudeus, reflecting on the journeys that brought them here, acknowledges that his path veered from expectation, yet he moves forward determinedly. The narrative shifts again, highlighting the geographical wonders and challenges of their journeys. They come across the Red Wyrm Mountains, a crucial point in their travels. The mountains themselves present a dual facade, beautiful yet perilous, inhabited by the Red Wyrms. These formidable creatures are the epitome of danger, yet lead to fascinating tales of the kingdom's bravery and the unimpeachable power dynamics playing out in the world beyond. As Rudeus charts their path through this territory, he recalls the history of the Red Wyrm Mountains and the adventurous spirit innate in him. Despite the risks, he resolves to journey ahead, understanding that every step taken is a new chapter unfolding in his life. The complexity of past entanglements lingers on his mind, yet there's an undeniable allure beckoning his heart forward. Thus, this chapter closes with the palpable realization of what has been lost and gained. Each character in this intricate weave of narratives finds themselves poised at the brink of change, challenged by their past, but invigorated by the prospects of what lies ahead. As they venture forth, the essence of their journey becomes clear, seeking truth, exploring power, and navigating the intersection of fate and willpower. Rudeus stands at this crossroads, ever determined to claim his future. As our tale unfolds, Rudeus and his companions are camped near the infamous Red Wyrm's lower jaw, a dangerous region known for its formidable creatures. Among these creatures are the Red Wyrms, notorious for the lucrative materials they provide when defeated. Rudeus recalls how others had captured these beasts to harvest their materials, a feat both impressive and dangerous. Reflecting on past stories, Rudeus shares how Eris once claimed to have slain a Red Wyrm on her own. Though some doubted her tale, her bravery and strength have been proven time and again. Ghislaine had taught Eris the sword, perhaps instilling in her the critical skills needed to face such formidable foes. In a light-hearted exchange, Eris expresses her desire to hunt a Red Wyrm someday. Her adventurous spirit is palpable, and though Rudeus warns her of the dangers, there's an unspoken acknowledgement that such an adventure could indeed be possible with her skills. As they continue their journey, Rudeus reflects on the figurine of the man-god he carries, considering its mysterious influence on his life. Though he doesn't fully trust this enigmatic being, he realizes it has played a pivotal role in shaping his destiny, especially when it comes to meeting Rudeus and Eris. During their travels, Eris and Rudeus's training sessions become a significant part of their routine, with each sparring session offering lessons in growth and strength. Rudeus, ever the mentor, pushes Eris, helping her harness her power and refining her skills. There is a moment of pride when Rudeus acknowledges Eris's development by bestowing her the title of warrior. It's a powerful affirmation for Eris, marking her journey from learner to practitioner. The night draws in, and Rudeus reflects on his bond with Eris. Despite her growth, he finds himself still treating her as a child, something she subtly challenges. Rudeus's introspection reveals his deep-seated fears and the emotional weight he carries from past failures and the burden of expectation. Eris, on the other hand, remains unfazed, embodying a mix of youthful vigor and seasoned determination. As dawn breaks, they draw closer to the Azura Kingdom. Rudeus enters a deep reflection about his father Paul, considering how sudden and fragile life can be. The memory of his parents' demise is a shadow that lingers over him, shaping his current decisions and interactions. Their journey takes a significant turn when they encounter Orsted, a man of immense power and mysterious aura, accompanied by a girl clad in black. This meeting sets off a tense dialogue where Orsted's mere presence sparks terror in Rudeus's companions, particularly Rudeus, who recognizes the danger the encounter poses. Intrigued by Rudeus' reaction, Rudeus questions the source of Orsted's overwhelming power, and it becomes abundantly clear that they are in the presence of one of the 7 great powers. Orsted's demeanor is chilling and his inquiries probing, but Rudeus stands his ground, attempting to navigate the precarious situation. When Orsted reveals familiarity with the man-god, an omnipresent figure in Rudeus's life, Rudeus's curiosity peaks. However, their conversation takes a dire turn when Orsted names Rudeus, marking him as a target. A tense confrontation ensues as Orsted launches an attack on Rudeus and his companions. Rudeus heroically steps in to defend Rudeus, resulting in a fierce battle. Though Rudeus fights valiantly, Orsted's strength proves overwhelming, incapacitating Rudeus and leaving him vulnerable. Eris, in a desperate attempt to protect her allies, steps forward but is similarly outmatched. In this perilous moment, Rudeus's thoughts are a whirlwind. The attack on his group leaves him wounded and incapacitated, struggling against Orsted's insurmountable power. His mind races, contemplating various ways to defend himself, but the assault has rendered him powerless. Desperate and beaten, Rudeus attempts to channel his magic. An explosion echoes as he tries to repel Orsted, but the effort remains futile against the oppressive force. Eris's cries pierce the battlefield, heightening the tension and despair. As if ripped from his reality, Rudeus suddenly finds himself engulfed in darkness. Here, the presence of the man-god emerges, contrasting starkly with the chaos he left behind. In this interlude, Rudeus confronts his feelings of helplessness and failure. The man-god, with his cryptic demeanor, offers insights into Orsted, revealing him as a dragon god, hated and feared for reasons that remain enigmatic to Rudeus. Their interaction is a blend of insight and obfuscation, with the man-god offering both answers and riddles. Back in the waking world, Rudeus is left to grapple with his defeat and disillusionment. The encounter with Orsted is a bitter reminder of the limits of his power and the precarious nature of his journey, compelling him to re-evaluate his path forward. The chapter closes on a somber note, with Rudeus reflecting on his vulnerability and the harsh truths unveiled during his encounter with Orsted. His resilience and determination take root as he resolves to continue his journey, strengthened by his experiences and the bonds he shares with his companions. The story unfolds with an intense moment as Rudeus regains consciousness, finding himself lying on the ground, his head cradled in Eris's lap. The tranquility amidst chaos feels surreal to him. Lifting a hand to his head, he notices the absence of a fatal wound, a hole that was supposed to be there. Reality blurs as Eris's vivid red eyes fill his view. He hears her soft voice, concerned and relieved, echoing in his thoughts. Rudeus, you're awake. Eris stammers, her voice trembling. As he coughs, specks of blood scatter, but the overwhelming disbelief keeps him grounded. The agony gripping his chest suddenly dissipates, replaced by a strange sense of vitality. Norn accompanies Rudeus, expressing worry as she sees him. Her appearance indicates the looming shadows of recent battles, and Rudeus senses the profound impact of the battle against Orsted, the fearsome dragon god. Despite his near-death experience, the series of events are still fresh in Rudeus's mind. As Rudeus recollects the confrontation with Orsted, he acknowledges the incredible warrior's ability to nullify any magic, leaving him defenseless. Orsted's dominance ascribed him as the strongest, a title not given lightly in this world of formidable beings. What about Rudeus? Rudeus inquires, worried about his steadfast ally. Norn reassures him, explaining Rudeus' slumber at the campfire's edge. A humorous interaction ensues as Norn tries to silence Rudeus, believing he's merely exaggerating his pain. It's a moment of levity amid serious concerns, a brief respite for them to regain some sense of normalcy. Eris shares her unresolved anger about Orsted's actions, holding herself responsible for Rudeus's near demise. The weight of their encounter resonates within her, compounded by Rudeus's inability to comfort her as he usually would. Rudeus, trying to draw strength from the environment and his friends, acknowledges the dire reality of their situation. Rudeus cannot shake off the mystery shrouding Orsted's motives and abilities, immersed in the thought that if the man-god hadn't intervened, things might have taken a turn for the worse. Orsted's unparalleled skill is a vivid reminder of the challenges they face in this world. Rudeus's conversation with Eris shifts, exploring their mutual struggle and the path they forge together. Eris's raw determination surfaces in her plea, filled with an intense desire to protect Rudeus. Her sincerity reflects in her every word and action, leaving Rudeus contemplative yet grateful for their bond. The emotional gravity of their journey is underscored when a peculiar notion creeps into Rudeus's mind. Could he potentially leverage his magic to resolve these unstoppable encounters? The question hangs heavily between them, a reminder of the progress they must make. Meanwhile, Eris's tranquil persistence in training echoes her commitment to growth, validating Rudeus's trust in her. Eris is not deterred by previous battles, instead inspired to overcome the odds they face together. Rudeus, ever the steadfast warrior, joins in their discourse on strategy, discussing their potential paths and future confrontations. Addressing the mysterious man god, Rudeus conveys his thought-provoking insight into curses and the possible fading nature of the one haunting him. The narrative shifts as Rudeus focuses on gratitude for Rudeus, recognizing the heavy burden they've shared. Rudeus's unwavering friendship and protection endow Rudeus with a deep sense of respect and admiration. It's a moment brimming with acknowledgement of shared aspirations and the trials that have solidified their companionship. Lastly, a somber note arises as the group charts a path forward, a path requiring discernment, strength, and resilience. The trio decides to persist towards the future, ready to confront whatever challenges await. As their journey concludes, they stand united in mutual respect and a profound understanding that, despite the perilous journey, they have each grown immeasurably stronger. Their camaraderie fortifies them, and essential truths are shared, guiding them towards their ultimate goals. As the flames of the campfire flicker, casting shadows long into the night, the bonds they forge burn even brighter, lighting the way ahead. Paul finally acknowledges that Lilia and Aisha are content at their current location and seem to be thriving independently. Perhaps, he muses, Eris is also managing to forge her own path, which gives him a moment of relief but also a pang of loneliness. Once Paul finishes speaking to Rudeus, they part ways. Rudeus follows up with Zenith Greyrat, a guide who assists both physically and spiritually. Rudeus ponders if he should thank the man god who indicated their paths, helping them take such important steps. After finishing up at the bulletin board with Eris, she suddenly cannot stand. It's as if the energy to move forward has escaped her body. Rudeus wonders if she's exhausted, both physically and emotionally. He thinks to himself that perhaps he should start focusing more on how he can help Eris find a new path for herself. In a meeting room, Rudeus is brief about the situation involving the Rudeus Greyrat family. Alphonse, a trusted emissary, welcomes Rudeus back and guides him through the current political and familial landscapes. There's notable tension. Alphonse appears calm on the surface but concerned about what is at stake. Alphonse updates Rudeus on everything that has transpired, including the Fitoa region's return to its rightful governance. Eris is suggested to have a solid lineage, but many are unsure where she fits in the larger tapestry of alliances and families. Her future is uncertain, which worries Alphonse. Rudeus and Alphonse discuss potential political marriages for Eris, though Alphonse mentions that her wild temperament makes this challenging. Her unrestrained nature is both a strength and a complication. Alphonse suggests Eris could play a valuable role if she chooses to reclaim her noble lineage, especially in negotiating these family ties. During their discussion, Rudeus reflects on the conflicting alliances within the kingdom. Alphonse brings up rumors about Paimon, a previous head of the household now caught in troubling political dealings. He seeks to regain influence over the region, and his motivations might create further complications. This revelation stirs Rudeus to defend Eris's claim, pushing against the idea of simply using her for political gain. Eris deserves happiness, and working towards her personal contentment should be a priority over political machinations. When discussing how to best protect Eris, it becomes evident that her wishes matter most. Ghislaine steps in, supporting Rudeus's stance that Eris will ultimately decide her own path. The meeting deliberates whether Eris should reclaim territory or focus on living a simpler life, away from nobility. As the meeting draws to a close, Rudeus is left with much to consider regarding his and Eris's futures, pondering the fragility and expectations that come with their roles. In the quiet aftermath, Rudeus lays down in his room, feeling the weight of their journey and trying to make sense of his emotions and responsibilities. A rhythmic knock on the door pulls him back, and Eris walks in, projecting an air of calm she doesn't truly feel. Eris has been navigating complex emotions and expectations placed upon her since their return. Yet, as she sits beside Rudeus, all these uncertainties begin to fade. Eris confesses that, while she doesn't understand everything going on, she does desire something simple and true, a connection with Rudeus. In a crucial moment of vulnerability, Eris declares she wishes to be by Rudeus's side, highlighting this yearning as everyone around them advances their agendas. Her determination is unyielding. As they draw closer, the bond between them is affirmed not just through words but actions, their companionship deepening beyond the politics and external pressures they face. This shared moment solidifies a mutual understanding and agreement to confront whatever comes next, hand in hand. In another perspective, Eris recalls her journey. The confusion, the fear, and ultimately, the love she's developed for Rudeus. Despite feeling lost at times, ever since Rudeus's bravery confronted the challenges they faced, Eris's admiration for him has grown. Eris acknowledges the trials they've overcome on their quest, beautifully articulating her resolve to become someone who complements Rudeus's strengths. Training and determination become her watchwords, as she embraces a future where she stands firmly as both his ally and equal. Her resolve strengthens. She will forge her own path, learn and grow, and ensure that one day she can stand beside Rudeus, not as a burden but as a strong, confident partner, capable of making her own choices. Rudeus, somewhat introspective and candid, delivers his own reflections on what truly matters in life. Beyond the adventures and battles lies his simple wish to have Eris by his side. It's a wish born out of love and connection. These heartfelt realizations become the anchor, guiding them forward into a shared future where both are empowered, navigating their paths with love, courage, and an unyielding spirit to face whatever challenges might arise. As the morning sun filters through the windows, Rudeus contemplates the recent whirlwind of events that has disrupted his life. A sense of dread fills him as he realizes he overslept and Eris is nowhere to be found. "If you don't wake up, I'm going to prank you," a playful warning echoes in his mind, but today it feels eerily final. Rudeus rises groggily, glancing around at the messy room, the remnants of their shared life scattered like pieces of a puzzle now forever incomplete. His mind races as he notices the small, seemingly meaningless details around him, the wrinkled sheets, the clothes strewn across the floor, and then, a piece of paper that catches his eye. "How did I miss it?" Rudeus murmurs. He takes the note with trembling hands, holding his breath as he reads, "The two of us aren't well fitted right now. I'm setting off." His heart sinks as he processes the words, understanding Eris's unilateral decision to leave. The silence that follows is deafening, his world seems to crumble apart in those few sentences. He rushes out the door, the cold reality of her departure hitting him with every step. There is no luggage and no trace of Eris anywhere. Desperate, Rudeus seeks out Alphonse to understand her sudden disappearance. She set off on a trip with Ghislaine, Alphonse explains, his face impassive, not realizing the weight of his words on Rudeus's breaking heart. Confusion and despair grip Rudeus as he stands alone in the camp. Why, he asks himself, grappling with abandonment. In his mind, their shared laughter and tears replay endlessly, leaving him haunted by memories of what they once had. Days turn into a week of aimless wandering, with Alphonse's attempts to engage him falling on deaf ears. Rudeus helps construct a defensive wall, an ironic metaphor for the barriers he's inadvertently built around his heart. Yet, despite his best efforts, Eris chose another path, leaving him to ponder his shortcomings. He reflects on the last 3 years, a time laced with failures, regrets, yet also love. Rudeus had sheltered them, and in his presence, Eris perhaps felt safer. But now, that's gone too. The realization dawns that while Eris moved forward, Rudeus remained trapped in his own insecurities and unresolved fears. Determined to find purpose amidst the chaos, Rudeus remembers another mission, a duty to his mother, Zenith. Recalling his promise ignites a spark of hope and direction. "I need to search for Zenith," he resolves, his heart heavy but focused as he sets his sights on the northern part of the central continent. Elsewhere, Roxy Magonote finds herself in the town of Kazma, enjoying the renewed peace after a long turmoil on the demon continent. It's a celebration of sorts, with Talhand by her side and an unrelenting camaraderie thriving amid sweet alcohol and laughter. This joyful reunion is juxtaposed with the memory of hardships endured, but today, they revel in the light-hearted moments stolen from the grip of darkness. The tavern becomes a haven of stories and camaraderie, filled with cheers, clinking glasses, and shared memories. Roxy, though initially overwhelmed, finds herself swept into the warmth of it all, letting down her guard and sipping the peculiar sweet alcohol unique to these parts. Enter Kishirika, the great emperor of the demon world, whose presence is nothing short of electric. Her antics and spirited challenges bring a chaotic yet comfortable rhythm to the gathering. The banter escalates, and Roxy finds herself inadvertently dragged into Kishirika's grand jest, a drinking contest. It's both a wild scene and a testament to the unpredictable nature of life on the demon continent. Morning brings sobriety and a pounding headache, yet Roxy's mind is clear as she rehearses the new goals she must tackle. However, a theft accusation aimed at her shatters any hopes for a quiet escape. Once again, Roxy finds herself entangled with Kishirika, who offers compensation in the form of startling revelations about Rudeus. Roxy's heart leaps at the news of Paul and his daughter's safety, each snippet of information carving a path of relief in her soul. Yet, the ambiguity surrounding Zenith serves as a stark reminder of the hurdles still ahead. There's some kind of problem there, warns Kishirika, prompting Roxy to forge ahead with renewed determination. As the afternoon light fades, the tavern fills with boisterous laughter, leaving Roxy's mind to wander back to Militian. Talhand and Elinalise resolve to seek out Paul, while Roxy faces the staggering challenge of finding Rudeus. Memories of her young pupil surge forward, a beacon that guides her even through unknown paths. Roxy's solo journey is marked by quiet introspection, the whispers of old friendships mingling with the clamor of untold adventures. Time becomes an elusive companion as she contemplates the uncertain reunion with Rudeus, filled with both anticipation and trepidation. Meanwhile, the overarching backdrop of the demon continent unfurls with vibrant chaos. Demon King Bagura Hagura's unpredictable nature adds another layer to the complex tapestry of alliances and enmities that Roxy navigates. It's a delicate balance, ambition and innocence, camaraderie and rivalry, all sewn together by the thread of destiny guiding each traveler to their fate. Kishirika's eventual departure threads humor with understanding, their paths diverging but forever linked by shared ventures and mutual respect. With the tides of chaos receding, Roxy embarks on a ship bound for promise and uncertainty. Her heart, a tapestry stretched across the foreboding expanse of the seas, beats in rhythm with hope, carrying her toward the possibility of reunion and redemption. And so, the journey continues, a chapter closes, not in endings, but in the whisper of adventures yet to unfold, guided by the resonant echoes of intertwined fates.